Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being on, and enjoy the Packers and the Eagles game. All right, buddy?
Certainly will. Take care.
All right, thanks. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony Wood, everybody, our UK man, who I'm very proud has been a part of this program, and without a doubt, in my opinion, it's pretty interesting what we're able to try to do. So, it is what it is. So, but with that said, okay, we're waiting for Bill Winters to come on the program, and as far as I'm concerned, Bill will certainly have a lot of input in, and now Bill's calling here and I have Bill Winters on the line. Bill, thank you very much for being on the Sports Exchange. Glad to have you with us, Bill.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, Bill, we're going to go over a bunch of topics. We're going to do a few predictions and so forth. So we'll just start here from the top, okay, Bill? All right?
You got it.
The NFL dropped their proposal for an 18-game season, and they're focused on 17. As I mentioned to Anthony Wood moments ago, that's a reduction of one or two preseason games, possibility of expanding the playoffs, one extra team per conference. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, the owners try to make as much money as they can. It's not a bad deal. I mean, it's what I consider to be a compromise as opposed to 18 games.
Yeah, I think it is a compromise too, Bill. I mean, right now they're trying to get whatever revenue they can by adding the extra game, and they know that full well they'll never sell it with two, unless they can offer an outrageous proposal that would really make it worth their while to begin with. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree with you that you've mentioned it in previous programs that, to me, the actual scrimmages that teams have with each other would probably be a good way to eliminate those preseason games, because they're basically getting 2 and 2, even though they're not playing in front of anybody to begin with. So I think you're right about that. I really do.
Yeah. They're talking about no preseason games and 17 games. So maybe one preseason game, that might help a little bit, but it'll probably just be no exhibition games and 17, games.
Well,
Some scrimmages.
Really? You think that?
Well, I think so, yeah.
Really? I've never heard that one before. So why don't you elaborate on that? Why?
Well, I just think that you don't really need preseason games with all the inter-squad scrimmages that they have during, the training camp and that kind of stuff. So I don't think you really need exhibition games.
Okay.
Tee it up and play 17 games.
Okay, but meanwhile, the owners, I doubt, would buy into that, because they're certainly looking out for their pocketbooks for sure. So I imagine they'd want to get 1 or 2 in, but I can appreciate your point that they're really a detriment nowadays in a league where nowadays you don't do as much hitting during the preparation as you did back in the time, Bill, when you were playing. So it's certainly a different game for sure. When you talk about, but what about the extra playoff team that they're talking about per conference? Do you think that would saturate the playoff system, or do you think one team getting in is that big of a deal?
I think I like it just the way it is. So I'm kind of in the boat of one more playoff team is a little bit too much.
Do you?
But then again, yeah. But at the same time, you have to look at revenues and the number of games and those types of things. So they'll probably get another playoff team in there. That's my thinking is.
Okay. Well, you got to remember too, when you were in the USFL, and I was covering that league back in the '80s, they did have an 18-game schedule, as I recall. Is that correct, Bill?
Yes.
And the first couple of games, nobody really knew who anybody was, and then as the season progressed, people started to become more familiar with the players. But that's a different time frame altogether. So, with that said, let's go on to Melvin Gordon. He ends his holdout, Bill. He missed 3 game checks, and without him, the Chargers produced the 13th best running game in the league with 111.7 yards per contest. He's in the final year of his contract. Obviously, he had to report to the team by November 29th to accrue a year of service time to reach free agency. What are your thoughts about how this played out with Melvin Gordon?
Well, I think he lost big time. San Diego just does not pay. They always had a history of that. And they're probably looking at, even though they may have good statistics, Philip Rivers hasn't been playing as well as he normally plays. So it's probably a combination of having a good running back there that you can count on that helps the passing game. So I think it's a good move that he came back in the fold, and it probably helps his quarterback.
Wow, just so you know, Bill, I think everybody's having a problem with this. It's the Los Angeles Chargers. What are your thoughts about the Los Angeles Chargers instead of San Diego? Are we really getting that old or what?
Yes, and Carson, 27,000-seat stadium. I hear it's a really nice place to play. That's probably where the XFL team is going to play.
Right.
It's got a history there of, being a good venue for a game. But yes, things have changed. San Diego's now LA, and they're playing in Carson.
Yeah, they really. Well, let's have a little bit of fun with the San Diego LA situation, okay? The Clippers used to be in San Diego, and they moved to Los Angeles. So it seems like, to me, some of these teams are moving a little bit north to play in LA. There's no hockey team, but you have football, and then, of course, the only one game you have left out in San Diego happens to be the Padres because they got a stadium built. So, it's not uncommon for San Diego teams to move up to LA without a doubt. So,
they've always used San Diego as a leverage to go to a bigger market.
Right. So Bill, tell me, how much bad blood do you think that there is between Gordon and the Chargers? What'd you say?
I don't know if there's bad blood. At this point, management's kind of let them know that they're in charge. So I just think the player ought to be thankful that he lost out on a small amount of money relative to his entire contract.
Right.
So this is business. We'll see. I don't know if there's bad blood or not. I mean, after why you play so many games, I don't think you have time to sit there and fester with bitterness and anger and that kind of thing, and just tee it up and play ball. He plays so many games.
Right.
He only missed, I believe, 3 games. So, it's time to get in the fold and get paid, and maybe his production will warrant a better contract next year.
Okay, the Chargers travel to Miami to play the Dolphins on Sunday. Could you visualize a situation where Melvin Gordon is playing a little bit this Sunday?
No.
You don't? Okay.
No.
Well, that was pretty definitive. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, and he needs time to get into camp and get acclimated. I just don't see him playing this week. But, that could be dead wrong, but I don't think there's a reason for it.
The only reason I thought that he would play maybe would be 5 to 10 plays at the most to kind of get going a little bit, but who knows? That'll be a discussion we have pretty soon. So, all right, let's go on to some football games, Bill. A guy that I'm very impressed with, and when I was in Jacksonville, I was thrilled that the Jaguars picked this guy up. Gardner Minshew II takes on Joe Flacco on Sunday. This is a very unique matchup, Bill. What are your thoughts about this one?
Well, Flacco's got to prove that, he's a good fit at Denver. And Minshew is kind of starting to be known that he can play. So it's going to be a great contest. It really is. Gardner Minshew knows how to play the quarterback position.
Well, I mean,
out of Washington State.
Right, that's where I was going. Yeah, when you learn from a guy like Mike Leach. Oh, yeah. You learn from a guy like Mike Leach. Okay, and everybody knows that Mike Leach is a great offensive mind. And dating back to his time with Texas Tech. And now that he's in the Apple State, there's no question. I like Gardner Minshew. He's a low-keyed country boy that has been on a mission to try to do what he's got to do. And, it's great when you have a guy drafted in the 6th round that nobody thinks of you, because now your ability to want to prove a lot of your doubters wrong, to me, is one of those things where you'll always have a chip on your shoulder and you find yourself with a hidden gem. You and I could sit here and talk about many of these late round quarterbacks that turned out well, and we both know full well that Tom Brady would certainly top that list. So, you can find hidden gems later in the draft. Depends on
if you can throw, if the quarterbacks can make their reads, to throw the ball to the right guy. That's what the name of the game is, in small windows. Doesn't matter what round you come from, whether it's first round with the Jones kid with the Giants, whether it's a sixth round pick with Jacksonville. Kyle Allen did a pretty good job when they put him in there as well. So there's a lot of these low round draft choices now are getting some good coaching in college and are coming into the pros, being able to read coverages and seeing a marked improvement in quarterback play, which is great for the league.
You ever heard of Dak Prescott? He was like a fourth-round pick, right? He didn't do too bad, did he? How many people are...
Zach just keeps getting better and better and better, and the fact that they got Cooper now, they're able... it's a team game, okay? The more... If you got a great running game and you're able to get them to play the pass on defense because you got great receivers, you got a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over, is efficient, that's what Dak is doing right now, so it's fun to watch. Cowboys look awful good.
Yeah, they really do. So, yeah, when you talk about a lot of these players and where they're coming from, to me, I think that these are the ones that, like I said, Bill, have a chip on their shoulder, and that's really what it's all about. And, nothing like being able to prove your doubters wrong. And that doesn't count the fact that how many undrafted free agents get an opportunity and then they work their way on rosters as time goes on. Plus, they're cheap. You don't have to pay them a lot of money on a practice squad. You get an idea what they're going to do, and they play their way in practice to get those opportunities. So, all right, let's talk about a few games this weekend. Bill, you have Seattle at Arizona, Russell Wilson versus Kyler Murray. What are your observations on that?
Well, I like Seattle in that game. Arizona needs to get a win, but I like Seattle in that game. A good overall team coming off a loss, so that they'll probably go in Arizona and get a win.
So you have two interesting quarterbacks. So where do you feel that Russell Wilson is at this stage of his career?
Well, I think he's in the peak of his career right now. I think he's playing very well, I think he's Seattle's got a good opportunity to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so.
Great football right now.
I think so too, without a doubt. So Kyler Murray's an interesting story. So what are your observations about Kyler Murray?
Well, I think he's exciting. He's fun to watch. He's still learning, but they've got to get some horses around him a little bit better to make his ability, jump out at you a little bit. So when they're trying to install that offense, the air raid offense, and defenses right now have an upper hand on it a little bit. But as this thing plays out, I think the Arizona will play well. But right now they're not a real good football team.
Yeah, but
they need a lot of help.
Yeah, the two players though I do like on Arizona, you got running back David Johnson, and you also have Larry Fitzgerald. Those guys still seem to be playing at a fairly decent level.
Oh yeah. They just need a couple more.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Defense and offense.
Oh, I'm with you. And there's no doubt that the Cardinals, they're a team that was, 3-13 a year ago anyways, and gave up on Josh Rosen. Yeah, I hear you. So, all right, well, now that we're talking about the Cardinals a little bit, let's talk about Josh Rosen for a moment. So, what can people expect to see with him in Miami right now? Obviously, he has probably another so many games before they make a decision that he becomes a backup or whether or not they draft their next quarterback. We all know the Dolphins are going to get a great pick, for sure.
Well, right now, it's what you do. If you're probably going to be a team that's probably going to be, up there getting, one of the top picks in the draft with all the quarterbacks that are out there, and then all the number one draft choices that they have, it makes perfect sense to play the rookie and find out what you got. So you can either build on it or decide to get another quarterback. So that's exactly